You're listening to Hawk Talk.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hawk Talk, official podcast series of St. Anselm College men's soccer. Zach and Tim back at it again with episode number 10 today. Can't even believe it. It's our first little milestone, so we just like to say thank you to all of our viewers and listeners thus far. We've come a long way in just a little amount of time, so we really hope you're enjoying it. We're hoping that this will be one of our final times hosting on Zoom as New Hampshire is slowly but surely reopening. We're looking forward to reassembling our in-person studio, whether that's at school or in Tim's basement. We're looking forward to getting back to work there. We'd also like to shout out that we are doing a special episode, next episode, about our incoming recruits for next fall, so tune in for that if you're interested. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything that we put out. Help our podcast continue to grow and connect our St. A's family. You can also check out Hawk Talk through Podbean and Apple iTunes if you aren't already.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Episode 10, like Zach said, crazy that we've already hit this milestone. Another kind of cool fact about this episode is this is our first viewer recommendation. I actually received the text saying, hey, I got a great idea on an episode, and we're running with it. So today we're going to meet two of the alumni, the guys who were captains in my first year, and two of the first three people that I met on campus at St. A's, Dan Kelly and Jack Heintzelman. Both graduated in 2018, and like I said, were captains of the soccer team in 2017. Jack was a finance and economics major from Middleton, Massachusetts, and Dan a computer science major with business from Braintree, Massachusetts, and a side note, received his master's from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. In their careers, Jack started all 65 games at center mid, scored 7 goals, added 15 assists, and earned the NE10 all-rookie team as a freshman in all the way back in 2014. It seems so long ago. Dan had 58 starts in his career, ended up with 4 assists, and primarily played center back for us, earning NE10 third-team all-conference honors as a senior in 2017. More importantly, these two guys helped us lay the groundwork for the program that we have today. And it was a lot of fun to work with them, and it's always good to get them back in there. So, guys, thanks a lot. Glad you're on. How are you?
Good to be here.
So we always do this, guys. This is always kind of the first thing. But really, how did you guys end up coming to St. A's? So, Dan, why don't we start with you?
So when I was a senior in high school, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to play soccer and I know I wanted to study computers. So I found St. A's, and I thought, this was good location, not too close, not too far. Financially, best choice for me with scholarships and whatnot, and allowed me a chance to study when I wanted and be able to play. So it was a no-brainer.
How about you, Heinz?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely athletically driven as well. I wasn't recruited too heavily in high school. I looked at, I think Wheaton, Framingham State, and St. A's were the only 3. But I did an overnight at St. A's, which I would recommend to all players. And I mean, immediately I knew that it was the place. The community, emphasis on the athletic team, and the team was just so welcoming. I thank the older guys above us for that. And, they were super passionate about both the soccer and the education, which my parents were happy about. But it really just checked all the boxes. So happy I made the decision.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you guys are coming from in all those regards. And as a current player, I'm pretty interested in how the program was like when you guys were first arriving there, freshman, sophomore year. So can you give us a little insight on that? And then did you see any changes when Bruno and then eventually Tim were hired?
Yeah, I mean, 2 years, I think it was, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but we played for Coach Gagnon, and he was great. He did a good job of building that initial culture, the initial competitive nature for the team. He recruited me, but when Bruno came in my junior year, you could just tell there was some sort of excitement and passion that he had. Something, all the players got behind right away. They could support. And, you could see, a couple things about him. He just he was super transparent. I mean, this is Tim as well, so this parallels you, Tim, as well. Very transparent. They told you guys what they were doing and why they were doing it. They made sure to build the team values first. I think I played with a lot of good players, great players, but at St. A's, you found it was a mix of both great players and great teammates as well, which I thought was building that culture was amazing. And he cares about his players off of the field too. I think I got a text from 2 or 3 months ago when this whole coronavirus was going on, and he just checking in, how's your family doing, which you don't really get from many coaches, but yeah.
How about for you, Dan?
So sort of echoing with Jack, definitely different energy that came in. I think it was a year before you guys came into, there was a whole thing where we were going to go D3 or we were going to go D2, and that definitely threw a lot of people off, and definitely can cause some uneasy, upset stomachs, stuff like that. But yeah, when you guys came in, definitely saw the energy change, definitely saw a focus on helping people all around on and off the field. So that was definitely a lot of fun. And then as Jack and I were learning about things with you guys, we also got to help, pick out jerseys, pick out equipment. So that was always fun to have a voice in that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the point about the D3, D2 controversy, because I feel like a lot of people now don't really know that. And I think that's kind of important for our team now, because we've kind of proven this past year that we can play in this conference. Like, we don't need to be like demoted, so to speak. So I'm glad you brought that up. But to change the subject, we'll start with Dan. What are you guys doing now since you've graduated in these last couple of years?
So I'm still working in computers a little bit. I'm living in the DC area. I work for a cybersecurity company, and I do something called incident response. So it's investigating after different types of breaches happen, whether your credit card's stolen or whatever. Outside of that, still, living it up, still playing soccer, trying to be good at least. Definitely don't have the touch that I used to. But still connecting with people mainly through soccer. Actually, it was the first way that I met people down here, because I didn't know anyone down here before coming down here. But yeah, and that's just hanging out.
How about you, Jack?
Yeah, I'm in Boston, just outside of Boston, in Somerville. Moved in with a couple of friends from high school. Been here for about a year and a half now, but I'm working as a financial advisor for a team in the greater Boston area. We're called Boston Wealth Strategies. Doing financial planning, financial advising, which I can go into more. But as Dan mentioned, outside it's getting on the golf course, staying on the ski mountain, depending on the season, and then trying my best to get on the field. I find when I'm on the field, it's maybe 5-10 minutes and I'm already breathing heavy. So maybe I got to start playing a little bit more than that.
We were definitely bummed that we couldn't have you guys back for the alumni game this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, it would have been nice because you guys could understand my pain just walking up to the field. You get one to just doing that. So like I always said, let's see how you guys are in 26 years, 27 years. So, Danny, we'll start with you again, because I'm going to add in a little story on this one. But I always predicted you were going to be a Navy SEAL. And that's from a rainy 38-degree night where they decided, hey, let's do the beep test tonight. And I think we all left and you were still running. You just wouldn't stop. And that's kind of the mantra that I know the SEALs or any special forces look for, is like, oh, it's 38 and raining. Who gives a I'm just going to go. Okay. But really, so in your corporate lives, what are the lessons you learned at St. A's, both on the field and off the field? How has that helped you guys through all of this?
Okay. So academically, I'm still working in computers, and I've really grown to love what I do, and I'm definitely thankful and happy about that every day while going to work. So getting up from bed, going 2 feet in this chair, and working every single day has been a blessing. Definitely happy about that. Off the computer, related to soccer and sports in general. I mean, so many life lessons I've learned from sports, and mainly with teamwork. I work with people every single day, sometimes different teams, sometimes my same team as me, whether it is, I guess, on the field and we're focusing on something work related, or just focusing on that individual's off the field sort of personal life. I always want to be there, be a help to people when I can, because that's a huge thing for people. Sometimes you get too focused in your work and you don't really focus on yourself, and that can hurt yourself mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically in the long run. So you never want to see that to anyone that you work with, anyone that you care about. I mean, on top of work, I'm super competitive, so that's always stuck with me, and I definitely can get a little bit heated sometimes during work, but it happens in corporate world. But yeah, definitely have loved to learn to love working on the team, working with people every single day. And that's probably the biggest thing I miss in soccer, in college especially, that I still get somewhat in the corporate world.
So, Jack, I guess we can let everyone know that I do text you every now and then panicking about the market, but maybe you can talk a little bit about what, your lessons on the hilltop actually helped you with your career.
Yeah, it's definitely the similar values that Dan touched on. I mean, the community that you find at St. A's, truly having compassion. I mean, it's 2,000 people or so, and you really get to know everyone in one way or another. You see them every day, and you find compassion for them, whether they're your friends or just your classmates. The education piece, I mean, Zach will attest to this. It's absolutely a challenge, but I think the classroom aspect, being able to really collaborate with your teachers and your classmates, that's really the valuable part of it, more than just the grades that you're getting. You find that your teachers are your advisors, not just behind the scenes giving you, those C's or B's or A's, whatever it is. And then athletics, as Dan mentioned, I mean, working as a team, you really have a lot of those ups and downs. It may have felt like there were a lot of downs for us, but it helps you build those lasting friendships. And just the constant competition every day. I felt that I competed more at practice than I did in the games, just because, going up against Dan or going up against the Lynchies or all these, stars on the field, they made you work harder to do the best you could. But it aided well towards my career, at least the first few years of it, because it's that community, that compassion. As a financial advisor or planner, it's really about helping people every day. You find people from background, unique situations, and helping them figure out where they are now and where they want to be 5-10 years from now, creating that plan for them, and just helping them get that peace of mind, making informed decisions. I find it rewarding and fortunate to do it, but it all stems back to St. A's, that community, that compassion, working hard with people to get to a common goal. That's what I'm thankful for that St. A's has given me.
So I want to echo something that you said too, because in my real life, I'm also in sales, not on the financial side, but the IT side. And, you mentioned there were a couple difficult years, but really that's where the lessons come from. And any sales job is nothing but working through everybody telling you no, and everyone slamming the phone down on you or shutting the door in your face. And that's why, I knew you were going to be successful doing this, because I saw that drive. And, we've talked before, if you ever wanted to get into IT, I'd hire you in a heartbeat. But, those financial guys make way too much money. So I can't really blame you. I'm just a little jealous. That's all.
All right, guys. So I'm not sure if either of you have followed along with our podcast this far, but every episode towards the end, we like to have a little bit of fun. Popular segment we like to do called the lightning round. So what's going to happen is Tim and I are just going to switch off asking you both questions, and we're hoping for short, quick answers, all right? All right. First question. We'll start with Dan. What is your favorite memory from your playing days?
Ooh, favorite memory. I think free food and triple sessions, as much as they sucked, it was my favorite part of the season.
How about for you, Jack?
I've two. I was fortunate I had a second to think. So number one was Bruno. I think the first session of preseason when he came in our junior year, we ended the drill or the day, that session, with we ended up doing bicycle kicks, or forming the form of our bicycle kicks. Everyone did them. We looked like, falling all over the place, didn't know what we were doing. And then Bruno just hops up there, just hits a perfect bicycle kick top left corner. And we're like, what? That was when we started to figure out, this was the first session, but obviously he started playing with us more. And I was like, this guy was legit. He still is. However old he was, being able to do that. And then the second one is I'll have to get one of our classmates to take a look at this podcast, because, Dan, you'll remember this, when we had it was like our first time really getting into the formal weight training. And Neto, Helio Morelos Neto, who we all loved, he always had his strong opinions, and especially in the gym. So we were all doing, I want to say it was deadlifting, I think, or maybe it was cleans. And, the trainer showed us the right form. Everyone did it. And Neto's over there just literally grabbing it and just pulling it up. No power in it. But he was just so strong that he could do it. And we all just turned around. Everyone stopped. I don't know if he knew we were watching him, but like, what is this kid doing? And for, the next couple sessions, he just kept going back with the lifting coach, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, this is the form. But that just is a testament to Neto. He's a great guy, and it makes me laugh to this day.
I'm going to let you go to interpretation on this. And Heinz, we'll start with you. Who was the best player you played with while you were at St. A's?
Say yourself.
Yeah, seriously. No, I would have to say, I kind of touched on a little bit in one of my answers, but I think that it's a little biased because he's in the call, but there was nothing better than going against Dan at practice. He was by far the best center back in the league, 100%. Did not get recognized for it all, but he could go against the top strikers on every team, 25-year-olds from Spain, Italy, and just lock them down. And you could see how frustrated they were. I think I saw him maybe break, 3 or 4. Maybe he didn't mean to injure them, but he definitely sent them to the sidelines. But going against him every day, it was incredible. So I'd have to turn it that way.
So, and I'd had a really hard time arguing with you, because I even tell the guys today that you two were incredible captains, but you would beat the crud out of each other in practice, and then you'd be laughing at each other while you're doing it. And that kind of competitive spirit that's everything as a coach you look for. So, Dan, let me rephrase my question just to help you not be on the spot too much. Rather than Jack Heintzelman, who is the best player you played with at St. Elson College?
Well done.
Still Jack. I will say first, Jack, thank you. I appreciate those comments. But yeah, I also loved going up against Jack every single day. I remember specifically one play during preseason. It was pouring rain out. We were like soaking wet. I was loving it too. And we were both running to the sideline. Jack was running parallel to the sideline. I was running perpendicular to it. And there was a point where the ball was probably 2 yards in front of Jack. And we ended up not playing the ball at all and just trying to hit each other as hard as we could. Yeah, that's why I love going up against Jack. And then we both would either fall or like nothing would happen. So it was weird. It was always a constant battle. So if I'm picking someone not Jack Heintzelman, I'm going to go back to Neto. Anytime I could get to score on Neto, if I remember, was pretty frequently. Then yeah, I loved rubbing that in his face.
So that memory you share of you hitting Heinz on the touchline, I'm pretty sure I was about 3 feet away from you guys, and seriously, I thought we were going to have to call the athletic trainers, because you guys, it was like a cartoon how hard you guys hit each other. And that's when I thought, oh, I love this team. I just absolutely love these guys.
All right, so your next question, what was your favorite season out of the 4? Dan?
Favorite season? I would have to say either my junior or senior year. Maybe my senior year, because Jack and I were captains, so we had a bit more say and stuff. But we loved our team, definitely. Everyone on the team, we were fun to be with. Always worth going to practice. Always looked forward to it every single day. Barely paid attention in class. Don't tell my teachers that. And that was probably what it was the most, but also why I love the team, because we could screw around before practice and then hit each other hard during practice and then screw around after practice, and everyone was happy, so it seemed.
How about for you, Heinz?
I had to go with junior year. It was the first start with Bruno and Tim. Tim, actually, you weren't there junior.
No, I wasn't there. So yeah, that was.
Okay. So no offense to you, Tim. I would have loved to have had you there, but the guys above us, because they paved the way for us. I have to give them such credit. They brought me in my freshman year, and they set the culture, set the tone. I want to say there was 7 or 8 of them. Just like Dan had said, we were super close to seniors. They were even closer, and they built that culture. And that's the most fun I had. We had Bruno with us. We played hard. I don't think we won many games, but we were in every game. And as Dan mentioned, those guys were in still constant touch with almost monthly. So that was an awesome year.
All right, guys. Here's a fun one for you. And Heinz, we'll start with you on this one. What is your favorite Bruno memory?
I kind of leaked that one already. I already gave that one up. I should have put that in my pocket.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always found it funny. It's not really like one memory, but I always found it funny. He was so calm and collected that you would just, in very intense games, there would be a coach on the sideline that would be screaming at the ref or screaming at you and Bruno. And yeah, exactly. Mostly you, Tim, but Bruno would be there and he's just so friendly. He didn't know to yell back or what to do. Dan, was the Assumption game, that overtime game, was Bruno the coach that game when we went to overtime and they made us come back on the field after we had already? I want to say that was Bruno's year.
Was that in it was in preseason? It
was in the Catholic Cup.
Sort of the preseason. Yeah, the Catholic Cup.
So I'm just going to put Bruno in that position. I think he was the coach, but Assumption coach, nothing against him, but he always had, really large, huge emotions. And it was the Catholic Cup consolation game. We were down. We tied it up. Thought it was over because, you tie a consolation game, you're really going to play another, whatever that is, 30 minutes after the fact. And we all got to the side of the field, took our cleats off, and the Assumption guys screaming at the ref, screaming at us, saying, you got to finish this game. It's a tie game. And everyone was so pissed off. Bruno's just sitting there trying to calm down everyone. And he was always like that. And it made me laugh. I don't know how he was able to do that day in and day out.
So Danny, what about you?
So favorite Bruno memory. As Jack mentioned, the bicycle kick, it sort of just left everyone in awe. I just remember looking up and this is embarrassing for us because no one can do it. Let's see. I think one of the things that I love the most, always playing soccer tennis against Bruno, because you could easily get him riled up in that, and that's when he would bring out the competitive side. And then there's a game that we would play before practice started, and if you're in the middle, you know what it's like. It is tough to get out of the middle. If you meg Bruno and keep him in the middle, he will go nuts. So anytime that happens, which was probably once or twice ever, maybe in 2 years, that's probably my favorite.
I just want it on record. While Bruno may have gotten me 30 or 40 times. I did get him once, and that's all that matters. And Jack, going back to your comment about Bruno's calmness, because that's why we kind of work well together as we balance each other. I remember your senior year, and I wasn't able to come to the game, but you guys were playing at Lemoyne, and I saw Bruno get a card, which I've been coaching with Bruno since roughly 2004. I have never seen him get a card up until that point. And that's when I knew, okay, he's human. He's human. We see it.
All right. My last question for you guys is just something short and sweet. If you have one piece of advice to give to our current team, what would it be? We'll start with Dan.
Never take a second for granted. Live it up.
And Jack?
Yeah, I mean, keep working. We see the success you guys are having with the hard work you're putting in. Just keep going forward. And we're all here. You have a huge alumni network. It's a tough environment right now for juniors. Reach out to us if you need help with anything. That's what we're here for.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
So, guys, I always take the last lightning round question, and it's kind of a bonus question. And I texted Bruno and asked him what he would want me to ask each of you. So these questions are from Bruno, and they are two different questions, one for each of you. So, Jack, we'll start with you. And I once again stress, this question is from Bruno. Jack, if you had to cook dinner for your family, what would you cook?
That's good. What is deal? He doesn't think I'm a good cook?
I have no idea. I was hoping you knew.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I've learned a couple things moving into the apartment, but if I had to cook my family, I'd probably start off with a nice chips and salsa, an appetizer to start. And then we'd probably go into just some pasta with sauce and meatballs. Nice and easy. But that's a comfort meal. And that's what I loved. I always loved comfort meals.
There you go. I don't see the problem. Okay, Danny, yours is a little more soccer related. I don't. Jack, I was really hoping there was a story behind his. I'm going to have to ask him now. So, yeah. Dan, yours is, what is your favorite on-field memory during a game in your playing days at St. A's?
Wow, this is so tough.
So, Dan, why don't I give you a little prompt and probe on something that I think maybe would help you? We were playing the number 16 team in the nation at home.
SNU?
Senior year.
Was that versus SNU or Merrimack?
That was Franklin Pierce.
None of the above.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You locked that kid down, remember?
What was that? The Franklin Pierce game?
Yeah, Franklin Pierce. Okay. Maybe that wasn't it.
I still remember.
It was that striker, the tall kid with the blonde hair. Remember you?
Oh, number 10, the lefty.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't know. Yeah, I did like that one. It's coming back to me now. I've headed a soccer ball maybe a few too many times. Proper technique. Yeah, I have no idea. I loved our junior year. We played SNU at home, and it was a crazy game. Went to double overtime, 0-0 the entire time. No one could put the ball in the net, even if it was to save their lives. But the way that we played as a team that game, I think that was one of my favorite games because we just played our hearts out, played for each other, left it all out on the field, and they were top 10 in the country at the time too. So that was definitely one that stuck to me personally. I think, yeah, that was maybe my favorite game, but favorite memory, I don't know. I'm just going to have to leave that one up. I'll go with the Franklin Pierce one.
Yeah. And so everyone knows that was the year we beat Franklin Pierce 3-2 to ruin their perfect season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the questions we got for you boys, but we really appreciate you guys joining. Love having you on today. And definitely looking forward to you guys coming out, watching us this fall, maybe even hopping to practice. But in the meantime, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you soon, all right?
Appreciate it, guys. Be safe.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. So that's all we got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether on Podbean, iTunes, or YouTube. We really appreciate you supporting the program. If you like what you saw in today's episode, please give us a like, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas, or interest in being on a future episode, please email Tim Field, TIMFIELD, at anselm.edu. You can also check out our podcast page through our other streaming services, Podbean and Apple iTunes, for audio-only versions. Lastly, go follow us on our Instagram for breaking news and updates at St. Anselm Men's Soccer. And don't forget our special recruiting episode coming next week, where we'll introduce our new players. And until then, please stay healthy and safe out there, and remember, protect the nest.